Hello and welcome everybody to a first glimpse into our museum here at the world's oldest brewery. My name is Matthias, I'm Weihenstephan's brand ambassador and brewer, and to my left, Anton, our social media manager.
A warm welcome from Weihenstephan here to Weihenstephanfest 2020. Welcome United States of America. As you can see in the background, it is already dark here. It's 9 p.m. and I think we're ready for a beer, but not just yet.
Not just yet. 3 minutes countdown, then we're starting, then we're going live, then we are back for you to Weihenstephanfest 2020. 3 minutes coming to you.
See you in a couple minutes.
Hello and welcome back here from the museum, from the Weihenstephan Brewery, the oldest brewery in the world.
A warm welcome here from Weihenstephan, and he said it, the oldest brewery in the world. And yes, this year hits different, right? I mean, all the Volksfests, all the Oktoberfests, nothing. And you know what we thought? Why don't we have a ceremonial keg tapping here? Why don't we have a party here?
Well, a social distance party, of course. Because the situation is challenging all of us, and we try the best to make it out. With you to have that online Oktoberfest, online Volksfest. And so that's why I try to... sorry, I forgot to mute my phone. That's what's happening when it's live. But the situation is challenging all of us, and that's why we're doing this online social distancing fest. But also we're doing social distancing here. Me, that's Matthias. I'm International Brand Ambassador of Weihenstephan and brewer. And Anton.
I'm the something with media and something with beer guy. So yeah, the only thing I know about beer is how to drink it. And yeah, I mean, there's got to be somebody who does that, right? So.
Yeah. We call him content creator internally. That's the new.
Everybody needs a everybody needs a title. Everybody needs a title.
Everyone needs a title. But also our guests here in the Brewery Museum, we try to social distance, or we're doing social distance based on the rules of the state of Bavaria. So we try to keep the 6 feet distance, or even we cannot do this keeping on the mask. So we do the best here for social distancing and do this online Volksfest straight to you in your living rooms, or to bars, or to restaurants, or wherever this stream is watched.
Yeah. So first of all, I've seen people here from Boston, from New York checking in. You can tell us in the comments where you're from. I mean, that's something interesting for us. We know this is broadcasted in the US, so tell us where you're from, where you're checking in from, and we'll just go on with the schedule.
Absolutely. So we have planned a schedule for today, and this is in about, let me see my clock, in a few minutes at 3:15 p.m. Eastern Time US. We're gonna tap this keg here. So we have prepared and cooled for more than 24 hours this wooden ceremonial keg, and we're gonna tap it, and filled with delicious Weihenstephanfest beer.
An interesting thing about Fest beer, you know, we didn't have the Volksfest this year,
unfortunately.
But our brewmasters did their best, and you know, we have an extraordinary Fest beer this year. I mean, they gave it its time. They gave it a lot of time again, and you will hear more about that later on.
Yes, at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm gonna do with you, and I hope you will crack up your Fest beers at home too, or in the bars and restaurants. And then we do together a tasting. I will guide you through a tasting of Weihenstephanfest beer, and we're gonna learn a little bit more about that style and how we are gonna brew it.
That's right. And after that, there's another thing we have planned for you guys today. And we'll take a look at Oktoberfests all over the world, but especially, of course, in the US. And we have a special guest for that, and quite coincidentally, he's working for Weihenstephan.
And he's my boss, by the way, so cool.
And it's Markus Englert. He's the VP Export Weihenstephan, and he will be joining us later to answer some questions from Matthias, and also your questions. If you have questions for him, just ask them, and we'll do our best to answer them.
Of course. And the great thing about that, Markus isn't only the VP of the brewery and head of sales export. He is doing that job for more than 20 years. So he has been to Oktoberfest and Volksfest from Brisbane to Seattle in I don't know how many different countries in this world, have seen so many different things when it comes to this typical kind of Bavarian beer culture exported to the world, and I guess we will have some interesting stories there. And I know something, we were gonna hear a very interesting story from Oktoberfest in the United States.
Yes, and of course we're going to show you some pictures with that. That's going to be interesting for you guys to see how Volksfest and Oktoberfest is celebrated all over the world. And I'm pretty sure that, and that's a question for Markus. I mean, you said how many countries has he visited so far? I'm pretty sure he can tell us in a few moments. And yeah, but that's not the end of it.
Of course not, because what is Volksfest, what is Oktoberfest without having some proper food to our fest beers or our Bavarian beers. Our guests here in the museum are already having some beers, and they are, Brotzeitplatte, a cold, delicious platter of different Bavarian specialties. But when Markus is joining me here at the table in the front for the interview, we're gonna have some delicious, typical Bavarian beer tent food, exclusively cooked and prepared by the Bräustüber Weihenstephan, the brewery's restaurant, about 10 meters away from here. And there we're gonna also have a special food pairing of Bavarian beer and Bavarian classic cuisine.
Yes, and that is something that most people look forward to when they go to Oktoberfest or when they go to a Volksfest. The food that comes with it, you know, all this traditional Bavarian food. That is what the people want to have when they go to a beer tent. So we're gonna focus on that later on, and after we do the food pairing, after we do the drinking, we
strengthened ourselves with some delicious food.
And there he is. You heard the Austrian accent. There's the ambassador that he is, and
then we're gonna do something for our biceps, you know.
And you know, he's a brewer, so he has the brewer biceps, and that's and you know, I don't have it, but you know, maybe I'm going full Ironman later on, but we're gonna have a Steinhoisting competition.
We're gonna have a Steinhoisting competition. Oh yeah, and that means at 4:15 p.m. Eastern US time, we're gonna do command and start here from Weihenstephan, from the museum of the world's oldest brewery. We gave out an international starting commando for everyone out there who is joining this stream for doing a Steinhoisting. So we're gonna explain the rules up front. We're gonna show you how to do it, and then some of the guys here in the museum are gonna join here a live Steinhoisting. But most importantly is that you at home or in the bar or wherever you are and watching the stream are gonna join in. Prepare some 1 liter max with water or beer and be in this international worldwide Steinhoisting competition with us. We are giving the commando, and after this, send us your pictures and send us your time your winner has hoisted the Stein in front of him, and this will gonna be the big highlight and finale of our stream.
And this is also something I just want to point out as the social media guy. If you have pictures already, if you're in your traditional clothing, if you decorated your home, if you decorated your bar, and you have the pictures, just post them in the comments, and maybe they get featured in the stream.
Of course, really. Send us your questions, text them, put it in the stream, in the comments, or whatever. Take the chance and get in touch with us.
There's a first question.
Yes.
Thanks for being here, everybody. And the first question is, where is this? What we are doing here? Where does this take place? It is at the brewery.
Where does this take place? That's a very good question. The museum of the Weihenstephan brewery, where we right now in here, is actually one of the oldest spots on the Weihenstephan hill. Parts of the walls of this museum, some stone bricks left in the wall are from the 9th or 10th century. So there are belongings on this very spot here that are nearly 1,000 years old. And this was in the former times also the sacristy of the St. Stephen Church, which belonged to the Benedictine monastery where the Weihenstephan brewery came out of. Today we are founded in 1040, the world's oldest brewery, today owned by the state of Bavaria, so we are the Bavarian state brewery. Until 1803 we have been a monastery brewery. But now for many, many decades we are state-owned, the world's oldest brewery, and are connected to the oldest and biggest faculty for brewing technology and brewing science of famous technical university, Munich.
And this is also the point. We're surrounded by a beautiful area.
Absolutely.
And, before we get to this big boy here, we're going to show you what this area looks like.
But give me 1 minute first. Dear US viewers, dear US fans of Weihenstephan, not just that we are streaming today basically just for you to the United States, we also had one specialty because I know a guy, I know a few guys, but I know a guy for a lot of things, but we have kind of drafted for today a special guy. And this is Adam. In the back here, he is showing up. Adam is actually American. He is from Pennsylvania. He is studying brewing science here at Technical University of Munich. And he is our show intern today, so he will assist me while tapping the keg. He will assist our guys when they need a fresh beer. And yeah, so we not only streaming for the United States, also we do have an American guy here. And the second interesting thing for that is, you see all the flags in the back, the German flag, the European flag, and the Bavarian flag. We have a very special day today in Germany.
It is the German Unification Day, and it's the 30th anniversary of it. 1990, 3rd October 1990 was when Germany got back together. And, as Germans like to do, we follow the rules. We follow them really strict. So this is actually the official, how can we tell? It's like there is an official rule how to hang the banners.
Yeah,
the flags.
In which order and in which direction and whatever. There's an own rule, really, a rule book how to do that. I didn't know that. I Googled it yesterday, and there's an own Bavarian rule book for that.
Yeah, welcome to Germany.
Yeah.
And
But it's a great day, not just to celebrate the German unification, the 30th anniversary of the German unification, but it's also a great day to celebrate our beer. And
at
that's what we're
Weihenstephanfest.
doing. At Weihenstephanfest. Welcome to Weihenstephanfest, guys. And now it's going to show you some surroundings of the brewery, our wonderful Weihenstephan Gardens. And while that is happening, we are going to prepare the tapping at on point 3:15 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to tap this big boy. See you.
Welcome back. Here we are again. I hope you had a good first impression of what Weihenstephan looks like, what the area of Weihenstephan looks like. And I think now it's time to get the job done.
Okay, it's time to get the job done in a few seconds. So you want to
Everybody stand up, please.
Okay, I try to do this
And our audience will count down from 5.
Don't spill the beer.
I,
Technical system here, and then
yeah.
the screen is blacked out in a few seconds.
Yeah, we won't be back.
Okay.
All right, audience.
Bitte das Kommando von 5 runterzählen und dann sagt ihr an. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, tap it! What's up, this?
So, hope everybody got a good look at it. And it looks like it. We're getting our first beers now. Honestly, guys, this is the best moment of every Oktoberfest and of every Volksfest. When you get your first beer, that's when you really know the next 10 days are going to be crazy. Thank you. All right, cheers, everybody. All right, we're going to get seated just in a second. We'll be right back with you. All right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I spilled some beer.
Yeah, a little bit of a rocky start, but I mean, we're okay.
You know,
we're okay.
My heart is bleeding every time beer gets spilled. You know, this is something that's tough. It's tough for me. But you know, that's where things. Such things happen when you tap ceremonial keg.
And those things happen when you're not a mayor and you're not doing it every year for like 10 times. You know, that's.
Should I tell the tale about why and who in beer tents the kegs got tapped?
Yep. Go ahead.
Small history lesson, guys. Okay. You don't have a choice, actually.
I mean, that's part of the program, so it comes across quite spontaneous, but you know, how it is.
I try to, but you know, whatever. Now the thing is that that those ceremonial official tapping first was in 1950, and in 1950 Thomas Wimmer was the Lord Mayor of the city of Munich, and he was late for the opening of Oktoberfest, and so he got into the first tent that was reachable from the direction where he was coming to Oktoberfest, and then he went to the Schottenhammer tent. And there he went in there, and then he was ready for the official opening of Oktoberfest. And then he got there to the wooden keg, and then the owner of the tent, Mr. Schottenhammer, said, "Well, Lord Mayor, maybe you want to tap it." And he was like, "Yeah, okay, let's do it." It was pretty spontaneous, actually. And then Thomas Wimmer, the Lord Mayor of Munich at that time, went to the keg, and he tapped it. He needed 16 strikes. 17 strikes to tap the keg. He spilled a lot of beer, and he did it till 1964. Even he wasn't Lord Mayor of Munich from 1960 on, I guess. But from 1964, the Lord Mayor of Munich, in charge after him, then did this. And since 1964, this is actually a tradition on the Munich Oktoberfest that the Lord Mayor is tapping the first keg, and he is filling the first steins, and and this tradition that the Lord Mayor of a city is opening the Volksfest or the Oktoberfest or the local town festival became a tradition all over Bavaria, all over Germany, and all over the world right now.
And this tradition is being carried out to all the small Volksfests around. It's not only that in Oktoberfest in Munich it is like this. It's also in the small Volksfests like here in Freising or in the areas around. We have a couple of Volksfests here. Pretty much every little bit bigger village has its own Volksfest, and it's good tradition that the mayor of every village, of every city, of every town goes out and taps the first keg. And you know, most of the time they do pretty good. Yeah. I mean, far from 16 hits.
Yeah.
And
the most successful mayor of tapping the keg on Oktoberfest is Christian Ude. He did it more than 20 times, and his record is 2 strikes.
That is quite the thing. I mean, you had 4. Did I count
5, I guess. The
5?
First, Sarah Seddon did immediately write in the comments. Did Matthias miss the spike on his first swing? Yes. I did.
Yep, he did.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for pointing that out in front of the whole world. Great.
And I just wanted to add,
Cheers.
He's a brewer.
Yeah, I'm a brewer. I'm not the Lord Mayor, so I'm supposed to make that inside the keg and not tapping it.
He's supposed to brew it and not to drink it.
It was not the first time. I guess it was the 10th time or something like that. Last year, about exactly that time right now, a year ago, I was in Boston. There I had a ceremonial keg tapping with our friends from Jack's Abbey, and there I had 2 strikes. You know, the whole bar was full of people who were like, "Whoa!" And I had 2 strikes, and I was so super nervous, but I did it.
Well, you know, seeing that, I can't really believe that. But you know, you probably tell your stories, my friend. That's okay. And no, but you know, we've never done a big stream like this before, so being a little bit of nervous is totally fine today.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of people checking in right now. I just want to give a quick shout out if that's okay.
Of course.
And first of all, we have here Tony Aldana from California Brewers. Hello. We have Frederick Cook, Redondo Beach, California. Hi. Binghamton, New York. Richard. Andres has joined. Bruce Weaver is here. Michi is here. Thank you for joining in, and I hope you have a good 1.5 hours with us right now.
Yeah.
And we did the first thing.
We did the first thing, and I was actually super nervous about tapping the keg, because it's always, you can always mess up. I did okay, but I did not good. But with my performance, I'm like okay.
And you kind of need practice. So if we should do this again someday, just tell us in the comments. Just type in a plus or something, so that we know you guys want us to do that again. And we have here, Mara, hi, our dear friend Mara from TVS has joined. Hi, Mara. And there's a lot of prosts coming in right now. We just just a general prost to everybody out there.
Prost, Anton.
Prost.
Prost.
General
Prost, guys. Cheers.
Prost, everyone.
Yeah, it's actually it's really great now after this first thing is done here, because this is actually technical, the quiet, most difficult thing.
Well, yeah, it is, and it is the one thing you can actually really fail at. It's not as easy as it looks,
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If you're a mayor like Christian Ude from Munich, and you do it like 20 times, I mean, he's practicing a lot during the year, because there's also every other event he goes, there's a keg that needs to be tapped, and so he's got a lot of practice. But most of the time, well, and right now you're not traveling, so you don't get to tap a keg every now and then. You just you tap one.
Yeah. It was actually the second tap this year. A month ago we had a German Volksfest event here. We broadcasted from the brewery, but I guess it's a thing of practice. Just practice, and and maybe politicans are better in this than brewers.
I guess so. I guess so. You have to make and drink the beer. So.
Yeah, I'm more the drinker than the tapper.
We know that there's some people in the US are watching right now.
That's true.
That we want to say hello to.
Yeah, of course. Up front, we heard from some people that they will not only watch the stream, also broadcast the stream, and this made us pretty happy. So we want to say thank you to Prost in Wichita in Kansas. They are gonna broadcast our Weihenstephan stream there, and I hope you're doing good, guys, at Prost in Kansas, in Wichita. Prost from Freising.
Prost. Prost.
But also I want to make some greetings to some fellow brewer friends from us, from
Please,
MKE Brewing in Milwaukee, who are also in their tap room are streaming our online Volksfest event there. And I want to say hello to our brewer friends from MKE in Milwaukee, and of course the people in the tap room who are watching the stream right now. Also from brewer to brewer, cheers und Prost. I love this Prost because I can drink all
Prost
the time.
again. I mean, what else do you want to do? I mean, it's basically what Oktoberfest and Volksfest is about. The people want us to sing. Let's wait a little bit longer for that.
Yeah, give me a few more beers, and maybe in the end of the stream, Anton and me are gonna sing.
The people demand ein Prosit der Gemütlichkeit.
Yeah, that's the thing about we thought about it to bring a band in here, but we did not have the space to bring a small band who can play some music for us. So we apologize for that. I know for the atmosphere it would be fantastic, but it was unfortunately not possible. The room was too small to bring also a band in here. I'm sorry, guys.
Richard is asking about our steins, that they are huge.
Yeah, it's 1 liter. It's the German word, or the Bavarian word actually, is a Mass, so eine Mass. And it's 1 liter, and it's a classic stein. That's what actually a stein is, because the glasses are Max. So this is what, the stein actually looks like with the awesome Weihenstephan brewery logo.
And you still get those steins that we have here right now in some of the beer gardens, like really the traditional ones, because that is what the old steins looked like.
Absolutely. But now we talked so much about tapping and doing this and how tapping actually and counting the strikes the guy who tapping the keg needs, which is actually kind of a sport and kind of an event in Bavaria, because I can guarantee you, and that's a fixed thing, after the day after Oktoberfest opening or Volksfest opening here in Freising, the local newspaper, one of the main headlines will be, I guarantee you, how many strikes the Lord Mayor needed to tap the keg. This is important news here.
It definitely is, and it's always basically the headline.
Absolutely. and I think it must be there.
Yeah, definitely.
But hey, we have talked so much about tapping. Tapping is nice, but drinking is better. And how does our fest beer taste?
And this is something that you, as a brewer, this is something you can show the people, because tasting is not only about chugging beer or drinking and like it's not about drinking and that tastes good. It's more about smelling it, looking at it, the professional way of tasting. And if you're with us right now and you just want to learn how to do it the professional way, this is what the next couple of minutes are about. Basically, Matthias is going to show you how our brewmasters taste the beers before they get shipped out. And so that's your kind of thing. So why don't you get started?
Yeah, let's do this. Adam, can I ask you for fest beer and for my tasting glass? Because I am gonna taste it out of a special glass, the so-called TQ glass, which is a special designed beer tasting glass. And I will taste it out of the bottle because I guess most guys of you, especially at home, will also have our fest beer out of the bottle and tasting it from the bottle, so we can talk about the same product and the same package. And I guess, thank you very much for that.
And while Matthias is preparing all this stuff, maybe you can tell us in the comments, we know where you're from right now. Tell us, if you're watching from home, are you in a bar, are you in a restaurant? Where are you guys watching from? That would be cool to know, because we have a list of some bars here that we know that broadcast the stream. And just tell us in the comments where you're watching it, if you're at home or if you're in a bar.
Of course. And so I will have some pretzel.
Go ahead. And this is also something that is good to have prepared for your tasting. Not only the beer, but maybe something like a pretzel, like bread. Maybe
neutralize.
Maybe you can tell them why.
Yeah. So before or in between of beer tastings, I always try to eat some bread or a pretzel or whatever. Not too flavorful, but just to neutralize a little bit your mouth, and then having a better focus with your taste possibilities or your taste in your mouth when you drink the beer. But how do we degust or digest a beer? Basically in 3 steps. We look at it, we smell it, and we taste it, of course. We drink it. And when we first look at our beer, at our Weihenstephanfest beer, so there we see first it's a golden beer and it's filtered. A thing that you see, the first thing is that it's filtered, so all the yeast and proteins that are inside the beer after the maturation get filtered out. So this is very important for especially pale lager beers, but also for a fest beer. And also very, very important in Bavarian beer culture is a nice, compact, foamy head. So the foam crown you have on the top of your beer is very important. So we don't serve the beers like kind of flat with no foam. Foam is super important in Bavaria. And you will see real Bavarians sending their beer back in the bar if there is not a nice tapped foam crown on the top of the glass. So judging the foam of a Bavarian beer is always important. And and of course the color. So we interpret our fest beer more like more classical lager style, and so the golden color, a little bit paler golden color, is that what we are expecting from a fest beer. So I guess we made this pretty good here. Next is we will smell it, of course. And
and you can see it.
And that's why I taste out of the Teekopokal, because the thing is, through its design, the intensity of the smell is much better than out of a Stein or out of an other glass. So they are getting this bready flavors, because a fest beer is more dedicated to the malt, and so more grainy or bready flavors are more dominant. But also a very subtle light hop flavor, herbal. We're using very traditional hop varieties here, so we are using the Hallertau Hercules and the Hallertau Perle. And those are two very classic, one classic bitter aroma, one bitter hop, the other more flavorful hop. And there we get a more, herbal hop aroma, lightly flowery, but the hop is more in the back. It's not so dominant. So more the malt body of the beer is, when you smell it, more important. But now I want to drink.
Everybody wants to drink eventually. I mean, yeah, you look at it, you smell it, you can't get to drink it. I mean,
First thing, and this is so important for a good fest beer, is it must be on your tongue. It must the carbonation. It must be fresh. It must be sparkling, so that you're getting like when you're going to a beer tent, it's warm in there, and maybe it's loud, and you're exhausted from your day or from your travel going to the beer fest, and then you're in the tent and you're ordering it, and then the first thing when you're drinking the beer, it must be tipping your tongue, and then this carbonation, this freshness, this fresh aspect of the beer must be the first impression. And this is what we have here, is this nice and fresh carbonation, but then this, really, really refreshing and nice, dry, malty body. It's full-bodied. Remembers malt, but not sweet. And this is how we see our beer. Is very, very important, that we want to have a full body, a great palate, so a very full malty body, but the body should not be too sweet. So it's like it's too thick on their throat. So it should be dry, very high and fermented, and then it should be super drinkability. And with a slight balanced bitterness in the end, you should have a great experience of that beer.
and this is actually what you actually taste in it. It's that slight bitterness at the end. This is what the fest beer is made of. That is what you should taste when you don't chug it. Like Oktoberfest is mostly about. I mean, who are we kidding? I mean, most of the people drink their beer not under these aspects. But if you're getting into it a little bit, and if you're actually paying attention to the flavors, this slight bitterness is what makes a good fest beer.
Absolutely, and which is also very important for our kind of fest beer, is that it should be seen or it should be recognized as part of the Weihenstephan family. And I always say our fest beer is the bigger brother of the original premium. So the original premium is our original Helles, which is a classic Bavarian pale lager, but the fest beer should be the bigger brother of it. Or like the big strong cousin who shows up like once a year for a big party and is making, awesome things, and this is our fest beer. He's like, I'm here now for the next few weeks, and this is gonna be fantastic. And this is what the fest beer is. It's a little bit stronger, it's a little bit more intense in flavor, but it's still the same drinkability.
Exactly, and
that's what it is. It is, when it's like too harsh, too sweet, too malty or whatever, then you have like maybe after the first or two or a second mark, then you have the thing that it's like, and then you have like this blockade of drinking it. But a fest beer should be like inviting you to drink and to celebrate. And this is what we love about this product, and try to make this so that way. And the most important thing is about producing it is, except of choosing the right raw materials, is a long cold maturation. Patience is the most important ingredient and the most important aspect of the recipe of producing a good fest beer. Giving the beer its time it's need. 8 weeks at 0 degrees Celsius, or it's about 32 Fahrenheit, something like that. Did I? Yeah. I guess 32 Fahrenheit, something like that, 0 degrees Celsius. 8 weeks in our maturation cellars here in the Weihenstephan Hill, in the Weihenstephan Mountain. Deep down there, cold maturation, giving the beer its time it needs to build up its flavors.
And you're totally right. I mean, the people in here talking about fest beer and about Fetus, of course.
Yeah, Fetus, I've seen it.
Fetus is one. A lot of people in the US like the Fetus. That's what we heard, and that's what we experienced when we were there. Just let us know, guys. Are you drinking fest beer right now, or what are you drinking right now? I mean, are you going with us with fest beer, or are you drinking something totally different? But don't mention other brands in our channel.
But I guess a lot of people also will love Weihenstephan Hefe.
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah. And this is yep.
Can I get a Hefe? I get a Hefe. Because I guess we should also drink a Hefe, because this is actually what we are most famous for, our flagship product.
It is.
More than 55% of our production volume is actually the Hefe Weißbier. And this is what we are famous for, not just on the big international beer competitions, but also check Rate Beer, check Untapped, check Beer Advocate or whatever.
If you think of Weihenstephan, you think of Hefe Weißbier.
I guess we are pretty good there. Thank you, Adam. Danke dir. Danke. And I guess you can also have a Hefeweizen on a classical Volksfest, Oktoberfest, but mostly not in the tents.
Exactly. There's a small, what do you call it? Not probably
merry-go-round.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a pretty German and Bavarian thing. But yeah, we do have merry-go-rounds on our Volksfests, really, where you can sit on and have a wheat beer. We call it wheat beer merry-go-rounds. Actually, you can Weißbierkarussell. It's
more like a carousel, but
Adam.
Yeah, more like a carousel.
Can I translate a Weißbierkarussell as a wheat beer merry-go-round? Yeah. Okay. If Adam says so.
I mean, Bavarians are creative when it comes to beer drinking, and if there's not enough beer so that the head starts spinning, you just you do it on the outside. You could just go on a carousel and drink beer there. So.
Yeah. And the thing is, there's really a merry-go-round on basically every bigger Volksfest where you can go on there and have a wheat beer, and I love those Weißbierkarussells because. It's like, you're turning around the whole time and having a good time. Your perspective is changing basically every second. And you're drinking good wheat beer. I mean, that's one of the greatest places you can ever be.
I mean, you get the perspective change when you have 6 fest beers or something. You get the perspective change by itself. But,
yeah.
If you're on a carousel, it might go faster.
Yeah. And then a lot of those Volksfest organizers say, well, yeah, okay, Bavarians love their Hefeweißbiers. And so in the big tents, there you have the fest beers. But then on the smaller tents or on such occasions like a Weißbierkarussell, a wheat beer merry-go-round, you do have the wheat beer. And tasting our wheat beer, we look at it, a golden amber color. It's a mix between, it goes from golden to amber a little bit, a nice foam, but compared to the fest beer, it's hazy. And when you compare it to the fest beer, when you smell it there, it's fruity. It's not that straight, clean, and crisp like the fest beer, and this bready, slightly hoppy. Here you have an intense, complex aroma of bananas, of cloves, just fruitiness.
And that comes from the yeast, right?
That comes from the yeast, yeah, from our Weihenstephan wheat beer yeast, the so-called Stephani yeast. And And this fruitiness, this balance between cloves, banana, but this fruity complexness, this is what is inviting you to drink. And that's what I'm doing now. And here it is what I love about this beer, and I guess you guys out there love this too. It's that creamy sparklingness in the first sip, and then this balanced fruitiness when you drink it down. And immediately you have the wish to have a second sip.
And this is
Called
actually
drinkability.
And this is I mean, there's a reason that this is our flagship beer.
Yeah, and there's a reason why this is our most famous beer, and why our brewmasters take the most of their time to make that beer, because it's just, you know, having the what I love is not just the balance of the fruitiness, it's also this creamy mouthfeel. It's like a massage for your throat, you know. A massage where proteins, yeast, and the fruitiness.
We're getting all fancy now.
Yeah, it's like going down, and it's like so. Oh, I love it.
Well, this
and
is
just. I know. I shouldn't say it out too loud, but hashtag dream job. Hashtag dream job. I'm getting paid for this.
He's getting paid to drink beer. I'm getting paid for all the technical stuff here, but he's getting paid to drink beer. How unfair is that? You know,
life is wonderful. Life is absolutely wonderful.
There's one question.
Yes,
just in the middle.
Please.
Christian wants to know what's the difference between the crystal and the normal wheat beer.
Oh. Sag was, ich hab grad was im Mund.
Just 1 second, you know, if your mouth is full of pretzel, you just, you know, I don't want him to spit all over my equipment here, so that's, he needs to slow down a bit.
Yeah, sometimes in between you need to have something to eat. Yeah, a lot of people think that the crystal wheat beer is just a filtered version of the Hefeweißbier, but actually that's not the case. The crystal wheat beer is a filtered, so a non-hazy wheat beer, but it's not exactly the Hefeweißbier, just we filtered out the yeast and the proteins. No, actually not. That would not work that way, but it also would not work when it comes to the balance of the taste. So balance is everything when it comes to beer. So the balance between alcohol, carbonation, mouthfeel, bitterness, sweetness. And you have 4 raw materials. You have more than 300 parameters in the brewing process where you can control the taste of your beer in the end. And so balance and controlling that balance is the challenge for every brewer and every brewmaster and every brewery. And so it just not work that a good crystal wheat beer is just a filtered version of the Hefeweißbier. This is maybe the most cheap version of producing that kind of style. Just taking a tank of Hefe and then filter it, and thank you, I have a crystal. You can do it, but I don't think that it will be successful for a brewery. So we have an own recipe, an own process, and an own management just for making our crystal. So there are a few differences, especially in the brewhouse work, also in the fermentation, and also in the hopping. So we do have a little bit more hops to get a more balanced between the malt body and the hop bitterness. So there are a few differences, and if I would explain everything, we would be sit here tomorrow. So I hope, Christian, this is the answer for you.
And another question that maybe I can answer. Johnny Young wants to know if we still follow Bavarian purity law and if there's still a benefit to follow it. Yes, we do. This is actually one of the most important things because it is a sign of quality. You know, the brewmasters can make so many different beers out of a few ingredients that is actually an art form, and there is still a benefit all over the world because people know that Bavarian beers follow the purity law, and you know, it is a sign of quality, and people like that, and people know that if you get a beer from Bavaria, you get a quality beer.
Absolutely, and the other thing is, we as the world's oldest brewery and as the flagship brewery of the state of Bavaria, as its very own state brewery, I guess for us it's not just something that we want to do or must do. It's something that it's so deep in our DNA to do it that the Reinheitsgebot is that we want just to show that as a good brewery, you don't need any artificial ingredients, chemicals, or additional raw materials up to the 4 that is stated by the Reinheitsgebot that you need to brew a good beer. It's all about creativity, it's all about tradition, but it's also all about skill, experience, and also dedication of the brewery and the brewers. And this is something which is very important for us here in Weihenstephan, because we are not only the oldest brewery in the world, we also do have here the world's oldest and biggest faculty and educational facility for brewing engineers and brewmasters worldwide. Adam is studying here. And by the way, the guy left, from my perspective, left to Adam, Reik. Yes. He is actually also educated brewing engineer like me here from Weihenstephan, a graduate, but he's doing his PhD. So he's actually working in a scientific way in the brewing industry. And this is what's so important for us, being modern, innovative, but still have that idea of the Reinheitsgebot working with us.
And before we get to a small video about the hop harvest, because we were talking about raw materials right now, there are some questions that we can answer pretty quick. Do you ship the same beer to the US that you sell in Germany? Yes.
Exactly the same.
Every bottle you get in the States is being produced here.
No difference.
And another question was, which of the Weihenstephan beers is the oldest recipe you still use today? The recipes have been altered to match modern standards from time to time. So, but I can only guess, but it might be the Hefeweißbier. It might be the Weissbier as a flagship from 1970s.
And that when you be very, very correct, like it's no recipe, because the recipe is adapted not every year, because you have changing raw materials with the malt, the barley malt, the wheat malt, and the hops every year. So you must adapt your recipe actually every year, because to get the same quality, you get the same taste of beer out there with changing 50% of your raw materials are changing every year due to harvest and the growing conditions. Then you need to change also your recipe and your process. You must adapt with the raw materials you get every year to get at the end the same awesome tasting beer. So actually having the same recipe for decades would make, I don't know, every year a different beer, and that's not what we want. We want to have that people rely on the quality of Weihenstephan, and when they buy our beers, that they know what they get. And so we must adapt, but that's how brewers work. We adapt. We adapt to that what we get, and so you can rely on us, and that's our biggest challenge.
And the last question before we jump into the hop harvest.
Yes.
I don't know if we can say this, but do you have a favorite American beer?
Oh, I do have. Oh, I really do have.
Just real quick. No one's going to hear it.
No one's going to hear it. No, I say it because I do have a lot of great beers outside of ours, of course, of our brewery. Because as a brewer, I love just the product, and I love good beers when I see and taste and drink them. But the last time I've been to the United States was a year ago, and one of the last beers I had there, which really amazed me, was the Copper Legend from Jack's Abbey in Framingham, Massachusetts, close to Boston. The Copper Legend from them, a Märzen-style fest beer, so a different interpretation of our kind of fest beer, pretty different. But classic Copper Märzen and well-matured, high and Jack from Jack's Abbey visited us also last year here in the brewery. Great guy, great brewery. But this beer, amazing.
Mine is Ballast Point Sculpin IPA.
Okay.
When I'm in the States, what I love about the States is this. Most people, or a lot of people, tell me that all the craft beer in the States, the movement started there with Sierra Nevada, but I like to experiment with craft beer. So eventually, I had to come across Ballast Point, and it kind of stuck with me. So that's basically my favorite, this Sculpin IPA by Ballast Point.
Also great beer.
But
hey,
let's
we
jump
talked
into
about
the
raw
hop harvest.
materials, and that raw materials are changing every year, and that's why we are out there. We are out there when it comes to the barley and wheat harvest, but also to the hop harvest. We are basically on the south corner of the Hallertau, which is the world's biggest hop growing region worldwide. Yep. And there we have a few hop farmers that are growing directly for the Weihenstephan brewery the hop varieties we need and where we buy them. And we visited Family Rieger. They have for I don't know how many years, decades, a hop farm there, and are supplying the Weihenstephan brewery with the hops. We visited them, Anton and me. They're about 12, 13, 14, 15, something like that, kilometers, about 10 miles, I would say.
Yeah, about 10 miles.
10 miles north of the brewery, like a good 20, 25-minute ride with the car. And we're going to show you how the harvest this year worked out there.
And while you're watching this video, maybe you can tell us in the comments if you're more into craft beers or more into traditional beer styles. Just tell us craft or traditional, and we'll get to the results later.
Okay.
Enjoy the video.
Now, about 20 kilometers or 13 miles of the brewery, there is a Family Rieger. The Family Rieger is for decades a hop grower and also a supplier for hops for our brewery. Especially the hop variety Hercules is grown here, and it's one of the main varieties we are using in our beers. How the harvest this year is going on and what's happening around the hop harvest here in the Hallertau, we're going to show you in that video. To smell the hops gives the brewer a first impression how the harvest and especially the flavor of the hops are gonna be. This is now a field of Hallertau Hercules, which gets harvested right now and will come then after drying the hops and pelleting it directly to the brewery. And we're back. This was the hop harvest this year in the Hallertau. And we say thank you and that situation to Family Rieger, who welcomed us at their farm. And especially they're growing for us the Hallertau Hercules, which is basically in every style of what Weihenstephan brewery is producing when it comes to beer. So it brings the ground bitterness to our beers, and so we are very, very happy that we have a so long and great relationship, and not just, I would say, business partnership, but also a friendship with Family Rieger, and that is also dedicated that Family Rieger is today here at the museum. Ify, Gerhard, Anna, there in the back they are. Thank you for being here. Thanks for the great hops. Also, they brought us the hops for decorating our museum here. Thank you very much. Danke euch, gell? Prost. Prost. And this is something, this is very important for us, having long relationships, having real relationships, not just, with our business partners, also with our customers. But I guess, Marcus, you have, recognized it. There is someone now next to me. VP of the brewery, Marcus Englert, Head of Sales Export. Long relationships, business relationships that turn into friendships. I guess you can tell us some stories about that, right?
That's what it's all about, really. I mean, to make friendship to the people who love the beer that you are producing, because you can tell them so much that you're the best or whatever, but they don't try it, and then you don't get to the customer. And Matthias, you're the guy of knowledge, you're the guy of beer wisdom. I'm the sales guy. I really try to follow your way to really get it to the people. And what I learned is on the Munich Oktoberfest or on the Volksfestes, there is always this. We had it before in the questions. I saw it. This ein Prosit der Gemütlichkeit. And this is what a salesman really wants, because when a tent with 10,000 people, all people at the same time drink out of their mug, that's really beer sales as well. And this is why we want to make a toast now, right?
Absolutely, let's do this, oder?
Okay,
Ein
yeah,
Prosit der Gemütlichkeit?
Yeah.
Okay, then let's do this.
Ein
Prosit der Gemütlichkeit. Ein Prosit der Gemütlichkeit.
Und 2, 3, Xuffer! Prost.
We did it.
Well done.
And you did
Than
great.
I
And you did great.
expected.
Matthias, you told so much about Oktoberfest beer, and it has a really big, deep historical and traditional background here in Germany and especially in Bavaria. We have our beer fest, we have the Munich Oktoberfest, and this is really, really important in our culture. But people from other countries, they also are very much in it. And I can tell you a really nice story. There was a representative survey that I read 2 years ago, and it was asking, okay, what is your association when you hear the country or the name Germany? And people, the top 5 were, first, it was beer, of course. Second, it was German cars. Third, it was German sausages. Fourth, and this really fits very, very well to the German Unity Day, it was our Chancellor, our Prime Minister, Angela Merkel. And number 5, it was Oktoberfest.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Yeah.
And this is what it's all about. It's not just about brewing good beers, it's also about culture. And I guess cultural aspects are very important. It's about traditional clothing, it's about traditional food. We're going to explain in a few minutes. But it's also about telling a story about the lifestyle, I guess, right?
It is, really, yeah. And this kind of lifestyle, people come to Germany and then they take it back to their countries. They see the Oktoberfest here, take it back. And I can tell you, I mean, I'm doing this job for more than 20 years. And in the beginning, it was really like, quite basic. But now the authenticity of the Oktoberfests abroad, especially in the United States, it's getting really, really good. Yeah.
And by the way, United States and bringing that there, 2 more greetings. I guess you have a special greeting for viewers out there who are right now watching.
Yeah, that's true.
Our Volksfest stream.
I mean, you can say, the big events, not only here in Germany, Munich Oktoberfest, Freising Volksfest, not happening, but also the big events in the United States. They're not happening, unfortunately. But I really have to say thumbs up to all our bars, restaurants, and the places, the regular places, which still do their Oktoberfests. And really thumbs up and thank you for that. And I have a really special one for our friends, a shout out to our friends from Plano, Bavarian Grill. Jürgen, you rock it. Thank you very much, and that's just wonderful what you're doing for us.
And also a greeting to our viewers at Barken, I guess, in Omaha, Nebraska. They are also broadcasting our Volksfest stream there. And it's fantastic that I see them on the list. Laschet's in Chicago, Illinois, because, I've never been there. I should be there in April, but the trip was canceled because of COVID. But I know they follow me on social media, on Instagram. And by the way, this is now where we should put our sign out, right, Anton?
Not yet. We're on the wrong camera.
Oh, sorry. Okay, that's about life, it's all about life. But Laschet's in Chicago, Illinois, I know you're watching. Hey, Prost, and thanks for following me on Instagram. It's fantastic. And they are liking so many of my posts and my stories.
There several times.
I will come to you. Laschet's I will visit you. I need to go there.
Cheers.
Prost.
Prost.
And while those two guys are drinking, you can hear me from the off-screen. We have one question which I can answer real quick. Is this being taped? Will it be available on the Facebook page? Yes, it will be available afterwards. You can watch the whole thing on real life. It's almost Weihenstephan Netflix right now. We have a lot of videos up there, and you'll be able to watch it. And just before we dig a little deeper into Oktoberfests all around the world, the Oktoberfest in the USA, we have a short video which will show you some pictures from around the world, and Marcus and Matthias will talk about that afterwards. So enjoy the video, and we'll be back with you in a second. And right now, since a lot of people demanded it, there's some real Volksfest music. So enjoy
some
it.
real Volksfest music. Great. We are back. You have seen now some impressions from not just the Volksfest in Freising, which is, my kind of hometown Volksfest. I'm now living for 16 years in this wonderful city, and I've been 16 times on that Volksfest. I've never been sick or ill or missed one. I'm pretty proud of that thing. And so Freising Volksfest is pretty much just for the regional people here. The tent is as big as on Oktoberfest. About 6,500 people fit in there. But it's just one tent and not 12 like on Oktoberfest. And on the other side, on the outside, you do have smaller bars, you do have all the entertainment rides and the merry-go-rounds and the Weißbierkarussell. And stuff like that. So it's pretty much like Oktoberfest, but just smaller and more for the local people. And such things like that you will find basically in every town all over Bavaria. And that's the wonderful thing about that. And you have also seen international pictures of celebrating Oktoberfest worldwide. I haven't seen so much from that right now, but I hope I will see a little bit more. But that's why Marcus is here. You are the hot stepper all around the world when it comes to celebrating Oktoberfest. And like I said, from Brisbane to Seattle. And I guess Australia, there's a big story there, right?
It is. I mean, let's face it, we are right now really in a mild lockdown here. I cannot travel because usually from the beginning of September till the end of October, I'm on the run. First we have our Freising Volksfest, then we have the Munich Oktoberfest, and right after that I'm heading to Shanghai. We have the official Oktoberfest of the city of Shanghai, then to the United States. I'm always twice a year, at least for each time, 2 weeks in the United States, and the second time is the one where all the Oktoberfests are happening. So this is really, it's amazing. As you said, it's Australia, it's Asia very much. The Asian people love Oktoberfest. Europe, of course, as well. With all the local festivals, and then of course
this weekend one going off in Vienna.
At
the Hofbräu Kaltenhausen beer ambassador.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I mean we're still doing it right now on a smaller scale, but you feel the need of the people. They really desire to go to these festivals, and I'm pretty sure we will do it next year or very soon again. Yeah.
I hope so too. But I need to get to the point. There's this one story in Australia.
Yeah.
Your rockstar moment.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, most of the time I'm doing the same what Matthias did with the tapping of the ceremonial keg before. And I went up on stage. I didn't know really what was going on. I came from backstage, and then I saw these people. It was around, let's say, 2,500, 3,000 people, and they were all shouting, Marcus, Marcus, tap the keg, give us free beer. And then you stand there with your hammer and your tap, and you feel like John Bon Jovi, at least.
Tap it, mate.
Tap it, mate. Yeah, that's so true. No, iconic moment.
I guess so. I've never had cheer so many people to me to tap a keg. So maybe one day I will experience that.
Pretty sure you will.
But also we had our Oktoberfest moment together internationally. It was basically a year ago. Where we was in Atlanta, at Der Biergarten.
That's true.
By the way, Der Biergarten in Atlanta, they are watching us right now. Marcus, we have been there because we watched the Atlanta Falcons play LA, I guess.
The Rams.
Yeah, the Rams was my first NFL game. By the way, it was amazing. I hope I can go back and watch the NFL again. But there we have been also in Atlanta in the Biergarten.
Yeah.
It was a nice there. But we know that they are watching us today. So our greetings go out from Marcus and me.
Sure. You did the ceremonial keg tapping as well.
And I had 3 strikes there.
Yeah, I mean, but you just did it today to let the people see a little bit of foam because
of course
that's what it's
it
all
was
about.
scripted, so you know.
Yeah, of course. Did I tell you, show them some foam, please? No, and I mean, it's amazing. We sent so many ceremonial kegs for these kind of events, official Oktoberfest opening. last year, and you know, we ordered especially more of these ceremonial kegs this year to send it over to you guys in the United States, and it didn't happen, unfortunately, but we are ready to send it over next year.
Absolutely. Markus, before we go to the food pairing, because we need to show this Wiesenreindl, this platter of this different specialties. Also, one thing, I'm a little bit envy actually, because you've been there last year, because it's a special thing, of course. You visited our boys in Goodyear, the deployed German Air Force guys in Goodyear Air Force Base.
So it was actually the last 2 years. Yeah. So
the last 2 years. Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's always in the end of October. That day, it's the 3rd German Air Force training squadron, and they are doing their Oktoberfest at their area there. They're always cleaning up their airport hangar and putting all the planes on the airstrip, and then you have that wonderful view into the desert. Inside, it was all flagged out by Weihenstephan. And it was just amazing. I mean, it was one of these moments that you never want to forgive, and I was ready to go there this year as well. And I shout out to you as well if you watch us. Amazing Oktoberfest there.
Actually, by the way, one guy from Freising, Timo, is right now there. He was deployed. He was deployed before Corona to Goodyear. And he's Freising. He's a Weihenstephan lover, of course, because he's a Freisinger. But if he sees that, hey Timo, liebe Grüße nach Goodyear. Ich hoffe, dir und der Familie geht's gut. Mach's gut und Prost.
And join Oktoberfest next year.
Yeah.
And there's that off-screen voice coming in. Just a little heads up, guys. In a couple of minutes, we'll be hoisting steins here. So people all over the world, get ready, get your steins, and it's not going to be 10:15 sharp German time. But
we need to explain the rules first. Right?
Exactly. So we need a couple more minutes, but get ready and stay with us. We're about to do some serious stein hoisting over here.
Then let's do a little bit food pairing in between.
That.
Yeah, we have here become or not become. We got another platter of food. Actually, and that's the so-called Wiesenreindl. It's a platter of warm beer tent dishes, German beer tent dishes, with pork knuckle, grilled sausages, and roast. The dumplings and the dumplings. I'm going to show. Anton tells me if it works right now. Because maybe you want to explain.
Sure. I mean, you have the regular pork knuckle on your right-hand side. Then in the middle you've got the sausages. I mean, top 5 of foreigners when they think about Germany. With sauerkraut, sauerkraut, plus potato dumplings and bread dumplings as well, I think. Usually you have also red cabbage with it. Roast chicken is very, very popular, which we don't have here. Roast pork as well, and suckling pig roast pork. All these things. So, I mean, when you come to Germany and you go to Oktoberfest and then you leave Germany, your cholesterol is definitely not low when you're leaving. But this is what it's all about.
Yeah, but this is what you have seen here, even if we are a little bit short in time, and I would definitely talk more about food because I love talking about food and beer, but we don't have the time. And this prepared by the brewery restaurant of Weihenstephan here, by the Bräustübel, that's what it's basically the classic food pairing to Festbier.
Yeah.
Pork roast, pork knuckle, a nice grilled, roasted outside, and the dumplings with the sauerkraut. That is what it's all about. Yeah. You need intense, a little bit fatty food too.
Salty.
Salty, but the Festbier is totally balancing it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just a little question for you guys at home. What are you eating right now? Whether you're in a restaurant or at home, what do you guys, pair with your fest beer? That's probably something interesting for us because, Marcus has been all around the world. Matthias has been all around the world. I have been to the States, but that's pretty much it where I've been around the world. So what are you guys eating with your fest beer? Just tell us in the comments, and maybe you can give us some inspiration what to pair with.
Yeah, Michael just wrote in the comments, Leberkäse. Yes, Michael, Leberkäse. Leberkäse is basically what I'm made of. And Leberkäse is pretty much the most delicious dish Bavaria ever invented. And we also do it, have in Austria, where I grew up and I originally came from. And basically Leberkäse is what life is. Beer and Leberkäse. That's it. And I'm pretty serious right now.
And Robert Hamilton, hey Robert, is telling us, I could only get my hands on some hot dogs wrapped in pretzels. Close enough.
Close enough.
There's a pretzel in it, Robert. There's a pretzel in it, so go for it. I mean, and all jokes aside, whatever is best for you. I mean, whatever you think goes well with that beer is fine. Yeah. So
I mean,
absolutely.
Let's face it. I mean, the German beer culture, German beers, Helles, wheat beer, they are quite balanced. So they also go with pretty extreme food, like spicy food, but they also, on the other hand, go with really also a little bit lower taste food. So, I mean, you can pair German beers with quite a lot of food in general, but of course, there are better ones and not so good ones, yeah.
Absolutely. And I had also some quite great German food all over the world. But what I also really totally appreciate is the international food you can have to our beers, because it's not 100% and all time necessary to have German food to German beers. Absolutely not. I've been to different restaurants and bars where I had Asian food, where I had Mexican food, where I had Thai food, whatever, to our beer. So Thai food and wheat beer, absolutely dream. Huh?
Yeah. Especially
Chicago style pizza and our original premium. That's like, I don't know, the best thing I can imagine.
Yeah.
Seriously, the Chicago style pizza, I know it's a tough thing to eat because it's very massive and stuff like that. But there you need a crisp, clean, cool beer to balance it. And this works so great.
Or try spicy Thai food, spicy Indian food, and drink a Weihenstephan wheat beer with it. It's really melting all the spiciness. It's mellowing it down to a very nice level, but it's so mouth-feeling. It's wonderful.
Yeah. This is I really believe in that. But I don't know if it's really true, but maybe it's just an urban internet myth, I don't know. But Benjamin Franklin once said, beer is the proof that God loves the humanity or the people. And even if it's not true that he said this, I don't mind, because it's the most true quote ever, because it's so true that beer is such a great beverage to make people happy, and then beer and food is like what is all about, right, Anton?
That's what it is. I mean, beer. You said it. The Benjamin Franklin quote. I hope it's real. I hope it's real.
I hope too.
And,
I mean, he was the founding father of
a
great nation, so I guess.
We talked a lot about traditions right now. We talked a lot about traditions, culture, and there is one other tradition that requires some kind of strength. And
a little bit of great biceps, I know.
A little bit of a biceps, and there's the ambassador again. So
let me use another phrase from Benjamin Franklin, because he was probably very close to beer. He once said, in wine it's wisdom, in beer it's freedom, and in water it's bacteria. This is And so I love him just to be so much on the beer side, and
I
that's
love
just
this
wonderful.
guy more and more.
This is actually so true. This is actually so true.
Yeah.
I've never heard about the city council issuing a warning about beer, but only about dirty water or stuff. But that's
when he said
that's true.
that was actually the truth.
Absolutely.
Oh, and Robert Hamilton has the correct quote. Beer is proof that God loves us and wants us to be happy.
Thank you, Robert.
And
Thank you
that's
so
basically
much.
what it is.
Yeah.
And while we're getting ready in the back,
We are 5 minutes late, right?
we are a little bit late, but that's no problem. I think
I hope you don't mind, people.
you guys in the if you want us to stop, please tell us in the comments. But I don't think you will. And there's a lot of suggestions what people are eating right now. Bruce says sushi and German beer.
Works. I personally appreciate sushi with crystal. Crystal and sushi is a wonderful combination. Because I had the spiciness of sushi sometimes with the wasabi or the other sauces that gives it a spiciness, but the fruitiness. But you need also a crispy beer, but it can also with the soya sauce can be very salty. So you need something to
Crispy. Crisp of a beer.
So sushi and crystal, I guess.
Yeah.
Marcus?
Yeah,
What do you think?
I would definitely. I think one of our first Scottish Japanese restaurants had the crystal wheat beer at the time.
A Scottish Japanese restaurant
Yeah.
with Bavarian beer from the World Service Brewery.
And not somewhere in Glasgow.
In Glasgow. I mean, what stories can this man tell? I mean, how amazing is that?
Just a heads up. Those two guys work together, and Marcus is his boss. So if you were wondering if there's any complications in that job, there are none. No complications between those two. I mean, they both like to drink beer, and that's basically all you have to do to hit it off. So that's that's a great start.
And one shout out to Kenneth Abrams, who has posted the quote of the day. I will try to give out there as good as possible. Milk is for babies. When you grow up, you have to drink beer. It's from Arnold Schwarzenegger. Well, Arnold, my fellow Austrian, which I totally love because he's like, I know. But milk is for babies. When you grow up, you have to drink beer. I mean, guys, second best quote in the world ever. Just saying.
All right, so I think when I look behind me, I think we're ready.
Adam prepared us.
We're ready for the Steinhoisting, I think.
We're ready for the Steinhoisting. Okay, Adam is helping us to put the keg back to the bar, and then the two benches for the Steinhoisters to prepare. But Anton and me will go show you the rules of Steinhoisting.
Exactly.
And Anton is gonna explain the rules, and I will be the beer attendant who will gonna show you how to do it.
Okay, so.
Okay, I will go in the middle here.
Yeah, please go
Okay.
in the hall. Thank you.
Marcus, prepare yourself for hoisting. Warm up your biceps.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We have our beer attendant right here. He's going to explain you the rules of this Steinhoisting. My name is Captain Anton, and I will guide you through this rule explanation here. First rule is you have to have one mug filled with 1 liter water or beer, preferably beer because you want to drink afterwards. You need to hold up your mug as long as you can in a 90-degree angle with your arm in front of you. You have to prepare a timer. We don't have a timer here, but let me just tell you, you have to have one. You're getting disqualified when your arms start to bend. Like this. He has a brewer bicep, so he's just showing off. But that's when you get disqualified. When you shake your beer so that it spills like this, you get disqualified. If you lean forward or backward, you get disqualified. And that's basically all the rules, guys. And if you don't do it right now, yeah, well, you're going to have a bad time. So there is a German, German kind of saying for let's go. It's 3, 2, 1, go. It's 3, 2, 1, los. And then everybody has to hoist their steins. So I'd just like to ask everybody who's participating to come down.
Gentlemen, start your biceps.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for
start your
takeoff.
biceps. Of course. Adam, would you prepare the mugs for the competitors? Nebeneinander im Blick Richtung Kamera, bitte. Hinter die Bank, genau.
All right, everybody's getting settled in.
Ja, zuerst einmal abstellen, Genau. Abstellen, Markus, bitte.
Okay, we have a
put down
wide
your
range of
masses.
contestants right now. Oh. Jim.
So we do have here some competitors for our Stein hoisting competition, and we're gonna give the command not just for the people in here, but also for the people worldwide out there watching. But from right to left, from my right to my left, we do have here Sebastian, Evi, Marcus, Reik, Melli, and Anna. So we do have here, 6 competitors who are doing the Stein hoisting competition. I will be the judge here because I said I'm not competing because, with my awesome brewer biceps, it would be an unfair competition, and that's why I'm not doing it.
And I'm not competing because I have no biceps.
Because he's the social media guy who's only have a trained finger for clicking the mouse, No, okay. I will give a command which is 3, 2, 1, go, but I will give it in German, because if you want to do out there behind the camera watching this a proper Stein hoisting competition, you need to do it with a German commando. And that's why I'm doing it.
Okay,
3, 2, 1, los, which basically means 3, 2, 1, go.
And so at first, before we start, we have already one viewer, Rob, says that Anna will win this. So
No pressure here, Anna. No pressure here.
Okay, so if we have a few more seconds, I'd like to ask everybody in here, who are you gonna think is gonna win this? So is it Anna? Is it Melanie? Is it Reik, Marcus, Evi, or Sebastian? Just tell us in the comments real quick. Just tell us in the comments real quick who will win, and then we should get started in a couple of seconds.
The most important thing is command your Stein hoisting at home. Take the time of the winner. What we are not doing here, because we are not. Yeah, okay. This just helps him to lose. So Okay. The command goes 3, 2, 1, los. And ladies and gentlemen, prepare your masses. On my command. Ja, ihr kennt sie jetzt alle, ja, einhaben, aber erst dann halt ausstrecken, wenn ich das Kommando gebe. Ja? Also ich bin dann auch der Judge, also I'm the judge, so when someone is shaking or yeah, you can hold it that way, yes. Okay. On my command. 3, 2, 1, los! Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is your commentator. This is your narrator, Matthias Ebner, directly live from the Museum of the Bavarian State Brewery. We do have here 6 competitors going for a Steinhäusling competition, and I see the first shaking with Reich Bear. He is MSc in brewing science, but he is shaking. He is doing his PhD in automation science for the brewing industry. Oh, he is turning now his side on the left side. That was a good move. Now he's not shaking anymore because he is now a better position here. But I see Anna and Evi, the 2 farmer girls here. They are like nothing for them. They are harvesting hops for the last few weeks, and they are like, what is this? I'm not concerning this anywhere. Anton, what do you think?
Well, I think I'm pretty sure I heard an ouch there by Sebastian. So. And he was already cheating from the beginning, so he's having a hard time.
Sebastian, how are you feeling?
I'm better in drinking the beer.
Well, I guess yes.
And Marcus,
Sebastian, by the way, he is a professional in IT management and administration, and we just invited him because if we have troubles with the live stream here, so we had our IT manager here to fix that.
And
his girlfriend up there is looking totally proud, I guess.
And I think Marcus is doing a hell of a job because.
Yeah, because he's standing like there like a Superman with a leader mark in his hand. Yeah. Marcus, do you Steinhäusling for living?
I try to do that, yeah. Since I did it with Jim Cook from Sam Adams, yeah. And
Marcus and Jim Cook from Sam Adams Breweries did a Steinhäusling once, yeah.
I think.
Oh, Melanie. Out of.
I think Evi might be out. I think Evi might be out.
Okay, we'll give you one last chance, Evi.
Okay, another chance.
Oh, Anna is out.
Anna is out.
Oh, Anna is out. Oh, and Melly is out too. Okay. Evi is out too.
Oh, Sebastian is struggling hard. He's shaking. He's shaking.
Struggling. And Sebastian is out.
There it is.
Now we do have the 2 finalists, Reich and Marcus. Yeah, who is gonna win? The VP Sales Export Management of the brewery, or in the office sitting all day scientist for brewing?
And we have a winner.
We had a winner, Reich Beer, PhD. Bravo. This was our Steinhäusling, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed it, but I guess your Steinhäusling will last a little bit longer. Thank you for joining in, guys. Thank you, ladies, for being part of this. It was so much fun. And thank you, guys. Reich, congratulations. Did he get a prize? The golden pineapple. This was it.
All right, thank you very much for participating, everybody. Well, yeah, Gary is dropping like flies. Yeah, well, Marcus just wanted to be a good host and let the guest win, so that should be it. But yeah. Yeah, Bruce, you can hold the mug. It doesn't have to always be the handle. It is all about the form. You have to have a 90-degree angle here, and that's it's getting pretty hard after a minute. So yeah, the most important thing is the form. It's not about holding it at the handle or if you really grab it, but it's about the form. Kelly says she won. Rob had it up 2 minutes and 39 seconds. Wow. Wow. And that's that.
And that's the best competition, because when you're thirsty, you need to drink.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason. Well, guys, tell us how long did you last at home? Yeah. Yes. Sure. Go ahead. Cool. Go ahead. Yes, Matthias needs to go somewhere right now. So yes, we have another question here, and this is, let me just check real quick. The question is, wait. Oh, Matthias' mic is off? Oh, no, it's back on. He just needed to get out. Yes, we have a winner. Reich won after holding it for, well, close to 2 minutes. And, you know, the Steinhoisting competition was, he actually got thrown into it just a couple of seconds ago because I had to check all the technical stuff. You know, that's just the reason that there was. And he's having a Weissbier, as you can see in the background. Yeah, Matthias told you a lot about our beers. There's also a lot of discussions about what else can you drink during Oktoberfest season when you're not when you don't have access to fest beers. We have a recommendation, and it's our Keller Beer 1516, which is also a little bit stronger, has a little bit more taste to it, and has a very rare hop variety, the Hallertauer Rekord, which is actually only grown on 1 hectare anymore in the Hallertau. So it's a pretty rare variety, and there's only 2 brewers in the world that can use it. So and it's Weihenstephan, of course, and it's Sierra Nevada. So the Keller Beer 1516 is a wonderful alternative if you don't have access to any fest beers right now. And Matthias is back. I was just talking about how the Keller Beer is a wonderful alternative in fest beer season.
Absolutely. It's actually from the style, a kind of, I would say, Märzen style, but it's a hazy lager, super drinkable, but has a nice, smooth balance due to the yeast in it. But with the caramel malts we're using, so you're getting a more malty experience. And the perfect thing, or the very interesting thing about our 1516 Keller Beer is that we're using for that beer as a hop, one of the rarest hop varieties still on this planet, the so-called Hallertau Rekord. The Rekord is only grown by 1 hop farmer right now, who keeps that variety alive. And we are one of 2 breweries worldwide that are using that variety, and gives the beer a specific, very distinctive hop flavor, herbal flavor, but very special. And this makes this beer so one in a kind.
And we're getting. It's getting kind of late, and we're almost at the end of our stream here. But we do have time for a couple of questions. So,
absolutely. And I want to do 2 more greetings, if you allow me.
Yes, please go ahead.
Hey guys, I want to say hello and thank you for tuning in to our stream. I got this von Rothenburgs Bierstube, von Rosenberg's Bierstube in Germantown, Wisconsin. I mean, is there a better place than like the von Rothenburgs Bierstube in Germantown, Wisconsin, than broadcast our stream? I guess not. Thank you so much for this, guys, for tuning in and for showing our stream there. Thank you so much. And also the Wundergarten, the Wonder Garden in Washington, D.C. Thank you so much for tuning in. We know that you're watching this. Our best and special greetings to Wundergarten in Washington, D.C. Thanks for tuning in.
And there's one question I'd like to answer right now, and it's by Josh, who says, your Hefeweißbier is ranked 98% on Beer Advocate. What is it like to be held in such high regard? It's wonderful. I mean, it's a beautiful compliment. You know, there's a lot of people, like other brewers, who tell you your beer is great, your beer is, you're doing great beers, and all is fine. But you know, at the end of the day, it's about you guys at home who drink the beers. That, you know, if you don't like it, I mean, there can be 20 brewers who say, okay, that's a great beer. If you don't like it, it's
winning
not
an award for a beer
exactly
is the most wonderful thing when experts say that your beer is fantastic. That's very good for our brewing crew. That's very great for our brewmasters. For us all, it's this a wonderful situation that experts say, hey, when it comes to that specific style, your beer is gold, silver, bronze, whatever. It's a medal award. And then we're really humble and thankful for that. But at the end, we are not brewing beer for experts, or we are brewing not the beer for events or
brewing them for you.
tastings or judges. We're brewing beer for the people. We're brewing beer for you out there. And if you love our brews and going then online and rating for this and voting for this, like on Rate Beer, Advocate, whatever, where, I don't know, then this is what, like, we are, going every day to the brewery, even on a Saturday evening, like today, which is hard work. No, but this is what it's all about. And yes, it's the biggest honor we can have as brewers to get that kind of feedback. But on the other hand, it's this what is driving us every day. It's this what brings us to the brew kettles, to the tables, to everything what we're doing. Because I guess keeping that quality high, keeping that reputation high, and keeping the taste on that level that you're expecting, that's what we are here for.
And that is what keeps us going. I mean,
Absolutely.
that's all the love you've shown us tonight. I mean, all the comments. There was not one comment that was actually negative, and that is something special, and we thank you for that. That's but let's not get too romantic here. But one little piece of romance, Adam.
Yeah, I have seen that too.
Somebody's asking you for a date because you looked so strong lifting that bench.
Cheyenne was asking, how do I get the bartender, I think his name is Adam, to agree to a date? He looked so strong lifting that bench.
I think we can set it up. He is from. Okay.
Adam says hi.
There's something going on behind the scenes. Okay, we see that now.
Okay.
And if there are no more questions, no. There is one. Any chance for a gluten-free addition to your life?
Never say never.
Well, never say never. There's nothing planned yet. That's as much as we can say for that. There's not a.
But on the other hand, maybe we can ask Reik. Reik, do you know, is there some science going on at the Faculty for Brewing on gluten-free beers? Maybe take the... Reik Bear, he is a PhD at the Institute for Brewing and Beverage Technology. His head is Professor Dr. Thomas Becker. And he is more in the details when it comes to actual science projects. So do you know, or can you tell just in a few sentences something, is there something going on in Weihenstephan on gluten-free beers when it comes to the science department?
Yes, there is some things going on. I'm not the expert for the gluten-free beers, but a colleague of mine is dealing with this in a few projects, and they are handling with different yeasts, with different malts, to achieve a beer that tastes as good as the Weihenstephaner and is gluten-free. So it's a big field of science, and there are much things happening, but it's kind of difficult because you have to use other resources, and the goal is to achieve a beer that is as good as a normal beer as we all know it. So there's much going
big
on.
challenges going on, but the university is working
easy.
on that.
It's working on that very intensive, yes.
Thank you for that, Reik.
Thank you. And there's right following into the other question, Weihenstephaner or Weihenstephan? When do you use which?
It's Weihenstephan Brewery. It's Weihenstephaner beer. The ER and the end of the name of Weihenstephan, it's when it comes to the German language, that it's Weihenstephan, but it's Weihenstephaner beer. The ER means that something is coming out of Weihenstephan, like the beer, or it's also Weihenstephaner graduate, like a graduate from the Weihenstephaner Brewing School is also a Weihenstephaner, because he is or she is someone that comes out of that school. So that's a specialty about the German language, which is very difficult and not easy to understand. So don't make up your mind on that. If you say Weihenstephan or Weihenstephaner, both is basically understandable for everyone.
And there's one question that I really can't answer. Maybe you can. Frederick Koch, where did Steinholding originate?
Seriously, I don't have a plan.
I don't either.
I just was born and there was Steinhoisting.
Yeah,
I never ask it. I will do a research on that, but you know.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah. Anton, do you give me a minute for a last greeting? It's very special
Yes,
greeting.
please. I might have one too in the end. So
Okay. San Diego German Club. There is a guy there, Frank Hilliker, or Frank Hilliker in English, I don't know. But Frank Hilliker, he has birthday today. He is also organizing a kind of stream of our Weihenstephanfest today at the German Club in San Diego. Shout out to the German club in San Diego, but a shout out and our best birthday wishes to Frank. He has birthday today.
happy birthday
Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, lieber Frank. Happy birthday to you. Alles Gute zum Geburtstag, Frank.
Happy
Prost.
birthday, alles Gute. And Bruce says, I loved how you guys interacted with the chat so much. Yeah, I mean, this is for you guys. I mean, we're doing this for you and with you, and that's what makes it, you know.
We're brewing beer for you, and we are making the stream for you.
Exactly.
Simple as that.
Can you guys do this every month? We will see.
We will see, and I guess let's see how this happens. But I prefer, actually, serious. I prefer actually a personal meeting. I love my trips as brand ambassador international, like going to Australia or going to the United States. Normally, I'm like 2 to 3 times a year in the States. Our man there, Tim Lynch, who is our Weihenstephan manager for US. I always call him my American dad. And he sends me all over the States, meeting great people, and having great relationships and building great relationships with our, fans, customers, whatever out there. And I love it. And even I appreciate that stream and that we can connect in a COVID situation with you on that way.
It's always better to meet in person.
Seriously.
That's what it is.
And everyone who is joining that stream today, I hope at some point I can, post with you in person, because this is what it's all about. Beer. Actually, beer is not a product for doing an online stream. Beer is a product for staying and sticking together and having. I had a situation once, where in front of when I started here in front of my regular bar, there was some kind of dispute between 2 guys after the Volksfest, in traditional clothing, in lederhosen, and they were pretty, over the limit. And then they misunderstood each other, and then they were like, oh, what happens when things happen like this. And they were pretty close before things escalate, and then they were like, man, that's stupid, don't do that, let's have a beer together. And seriously, in between of 30 seconds, it happens that this whole beef started from like, I don't know, being it escalates in 10 seconds to 2 dudes standing at the bar having a beer and then doing man hugs and then like having, oh, I'm so sorry, no, I'm sorry, no, you the dude, no, you the dude, I love you, no, I love you. And this is like the beauty about all that. And it's the beauty about having beer, because beer bringing people together. Yeah. Period.
Just 2 questions I'd like to answer real quick before we close this. Why is the W not pronounced like the others in Weihenstephan, like an American V? In the stream, that is actually a good question, but because when we talk to Americans about our brewer, we call it Weihenstephan because it's easier to pronounce for Americans like this. And we kind of Americanized it because it is Weihenstephan, like the American V. And if you go along with Weihenstephan, it's always better than Weihenstephan, because Weihenstephan is the American way to say it.
Yeah. And we say it like you would say, because we don't want to confuse our customers.
And the other question is, how many barrels a year do we produce? And we can't really say how many barrels, but we do have in a normal year, not this year because this year is somewhat
It's about
special.
320,000 barrels.
320,000 barrels. Okay.
American barrels.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right, we maybe we can't say how many barrels.
Just ask the brewer.
Just ask the brewer. That's it. And the greatest compliment we got this night is by Michael Donovan: host every fest when the virus is gone. Thank you so much for this because we were really nervous before this. So thank you.
A little
so much.
bit because the most. The most thing that confuses us was the technical side, that the internet was wrong, the stream was working, the cameras and audio was working, and I hope that it did work.
Yeah.
So, but on the other side, it was a pleasure. It was an honor. I hope you had the fun that we had.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed the beer that we had. And follow us on Instagram, because
Exactly.
if you're watching the stream, you already had our Facebook account, but also follow us on Instagram, Weihenstephan USA for the Weihenstephan USA account, Weihenstephan official for the account which Anton is managing, and at Fantissen, that's me, and yeah, would be cool. I mean, yeah. And at Hirschi.
Exactly.
That's him, our social media content creator, most awesome guy. And he is doing all that you can hear me saying that stupid things that I'm saying, and that you can see me that's all his work. He is putting the magic and the technical side in this. And Anton, seriously, thank you for making
you
this
as well.
happen and making this real.
Thank you
Thank
as
you
well.
so much.
And thank you guys for all the love you showed us tonight, and for all the likes, for all the hearts, for all the sharing, for all the comments. It really helps us, redistribute the brand all over the world. And yeah, thank you for everything. Thanks to our great audience, everybody in here.
Marcus,
Everybody in here, wave to the camera, please.
we want to thank you. From my right, Melanie, Marcus, Sebastian, Simone, Evi, Anna, Gerhard, Raik und Adam.
And thank you and good night from the both of us.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for being here.
Danke, Servus
Bye, bye.
und gute Nacht.